This is After the Fire, a series about history after the events. Each season follows the long relationship between two worlds. Some histories do not end when empires fall. They persist through geography, memory, and institutions that outlive the states that created them. Between Egypt and Ethiopia, the relationship never depended on a single empire, treaty, or war. It was shaped by a longer structure, one that still operates today. This episode traces that structure from antiquity into the present. If this speaks to you, stay with us. Like, subscribe, and tell us what you think. Chapter 1. The Nile as a permanent constraint. Long before Egypt and Ethiopia existed as modern states, the Nile bound their futures together. The Blue Nile, originating in the Ethiopian highlands near Lake Tana, contributes the majority of the river's annual floodwaters. Ancient Egyptian records understood this dependency indirectly, long before its hydrology was scientifically measured. Medieval Islamic geographers such as al-Mas'udi and later al-Idrisi described the Ethiopian highlands as the river's source, even if details remained unclear. This created a structural asymmetry. Egypt depended on water it did not control. Ethiopia controlled terrain that Egypt could never occupy permanently. No empire, Roman, Byzantine, Islamic, or Ottoman, fully resolved this imbalance. When the Ottoman Empire governed Egypt after 1517, it made no attempt to rule Ethiopia. When Muhammad Ali modernized Egypt in the 19th century, military campaigns reached Sudan, but stopped short of the highlands. Geography enforced limits where power could not. Modern infrastructure did not erase this structure. The Aswan High Dam, completed in 1970, regulated floods but did not change the river's origin. Contemporary disputes over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam repeat an ancient pattern. Downstream dependence confronting upstream autonomy. The technology changed. The constraint did not. Chapter 2. Empires remembered. Sovereignty inherited. Egypt and Ethiopia inherited different historical memories, and those memories still shape political behavior. Egypt's political imagination is anchored in continuity. From pharaonic kingship through Roman, Islamic, Ottoman, and modern statehood, Egypt developed a habit of centralized authority and administrative endurance. Even when rulers changed, the state remained. Ethiopia's memory developed differently. After the decline of Aksum in late antiquity, Ethiopian power fragmented and reassembled repeatedly, yet retained symbolic unity through sacred kingship and the Solomonic lineage. Ethiopia's survival as an independent state during the colonial era, culminating in victory at Adwa in 1896, reinforced a political culture built around resistance to domination. These different inheritances matter. When Egypt frames negotiations in terms of stability and continuity, it speaks from a long tradition of centralized control. When Ethiopia frames development as sovereign right, it speaks from a history where autonomy was repeatedly defended, not assumed. These are not rhetorical choices, they are historical reflexes. Chapter 3. Old patterns in modern disputes. Modern Egypt-Ethiopia relations rarely escalate into direct confrontation. Historically, they did not need to. From the medieval period onward, contact was mediated through Nubia, Sudan, the Red Sea, and later diplomatic intermediaries. The famous Baki Treaty between Egypt and Nubia in the 7th century exemplifies this indirect management of relations. Pressure was applied through trade, tribute, and delay, rather than invasion. That pattern persists. Modern negotiations over water rights, infrastructure, and regional influence are marked by prolonged dialogue, symbolic gestures, and international mediation. Agreements are discussed, delayed, revised, and reinterpreted. Resolution unfolds slowly, if at all. This is not indecision, it is learned behaviour. For over 2 millennia, Egypt and Ethiopia interacted as powers constrained by geography and history. Neither could dominate the other without unacceptable cost. Negotiation became the default mode. The past does not dictate outcomes, but it shapes the range of imaginable actions. After the fire of empire, the Egypt-Ethiopia relationship did not disappear. It settled into a structure defined by river, memory, and restraint. The long shadow it casts today is not symbolic. It is practical, institutional, and active. History here does not repeat itself. It continues through geography that cannot be moved, memories that cannot be erased, and habits of power learned long ago. Stay with us, like, subscribe, and tell us what you think.